Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video. I'm recording this today from Barcelona, and notice I say Barcelona, not Barcelona. If you want to speak like a Spanish person, the C is a TH, Barcelona. And I've been here already for a few weeks. I actually booked this trip kind of just wanting to see another side of Spain, because if you follow my channel, you know that I was a couple weeks in Madrid, and then only 2 nights, very quick in Barcelona last time. And this trip I thought, okay, let me discover another city and see which one actually I like more, since I couldn't have a proper comparison on my last trip. And I went ahead because I found this Airbnb that looked amazing, and everything was really expensive for at least a month rental in both Madrid and Barcelona. And so basically when I found this particular place, I thought, okay, the place looks great, the price is right, let me book this place and I'll have the experience here in Barcelona and see at the end which city between Madrid and Barcelona I like more, which one I might in the future be interested in living in. So I just kind of jumped into it again without really knowing anything about this city. And I have to say it's been an experience. In this video today, first I want to show you this Airbnb where I'm staying because it is really interesting, I think is the right word to use for this place. The decoration is very unique, and it's not really like anywhere I've ever stayed before. So first, let's just dive into that house tour. Okay, so the first thing to know about this apartment is that it's in a very small space and also on the 7th floor of a building, and it's actually a walk-up apartment. I've never in my life heard of a 7th floor walk-up in New York. I don't think they have anything above a 5th floor walk-up, but yeah, it's intense, and it really limits, you know, like your spontaneity about just coming and going, because I really have to plan out if I'm going somewhere, like, well, where else am I going to go in that day, because I don't want to have to go up and down 7 flights of stairs. Actually, it's kind of funny, I guess, because the artwork in this hall anti-room is all staircase themed, and I just started watching The Staircase on HBO, that new show, you know, about the wife that like falls down the stairs and dies. But anyway, so let's continue with the tour. So this is the actual entrance from where you would come in from the hall outside, and then there's a small like guest bathroom, I guess, even though the apartment is not really big enough to host guests, but whatever, like just a half bath here. And then, so the guy is really interesting who decorated this, by the way. He's originally Austrian, but owns properties like all over the place. It's like a property baron, and he himself bought this place and then completely renovated and redecorated it according to this very unique style. So on the right is the main bathroom, which, okay, so this is really strange and bewildered and disappointed me on the first day when I came in, which is that this space here, even though, doesn't it look like a bathtub? You would think, right? But no, it's actually only for the shower. There's no outlet for like just to take a bath. And I don't know why you would have a bathtub and not also install the possibility to actually take a bath. So as you can see, like all the design aesthetics, even the toilet seat is designed, you know, to match the aesthetic of this space. You know, the curvatures and everything in the sink, again, matching that 20s Art Deco design. It's also very grandma-esque, to be honest, but I think that's what he was going for with all of, look, up here, like the crystal and stuff. But yeah, I mean, look at even the attention to detail here. Look at these light switches, okay? That's pretty cool, honestly. So I don't know where you would even find something like this, but very unique. And okay, so coming back out, we have another hall, and then so to the left is the main the main bedroom, which is honestly really uncomfortable. I'm going shopping today because I want to buy a comforter. Like, I can't sleep with a flat sheet and these flimsy, uncomfortable blankets. Like, I'm one of the first guests in this space because it's only available for long-term rental. And I just feel like, you know, he put so much effort into the design of the space. Again, look at the lighting here and the sconces, but not that much thought into the overall comfort, because also, for example, in the wardrobe, there's like an abysmal lack of hangers, you know? And since the minimum stay is 1 month, I mean, look at how much clothing I have that needs to be hung up, but there's just not enough hangers, and generally like not enough space in general for all of that. So he kind of prioritized style over function, which normally I would be cool with, but in this case, some things you just need to be functional as well. So it does have an air conditioner, as well, but I haven't been using it because the apartment, as you can see, is on the 7th floor, and it has a beautiful, gorgeous breeze. Look at this. I mean, look at the view here from the 7th floor. It's just fabulous. It's really beautiful up here, and again, the air is so fresh. It's really a pleasure to just leave the windows open and just get that breeze. You don't even need the air conditioning in the month of May. So let's continue on our tour. So back out here we have the main living area, kitchen area, etc. Again, look at the attention to design and the commitment to that particular aesthetic with the green marbling countertops and the green. Everything is hidden because it's such a kind of tight, small space. So in here right now I have the dishwasher going, the oven where, of course, you have stored the pots and pans because there's no storage. In here is the only kind of small space for kitchenware. In here we have hidden the other like cleaning supplies and the garbage. In here is hidden the refrigerator, but look at how tiny this is. It's like really non-functional, to be honest with you. Anything that I put in gets crushed, like my yogurts, you see, they got crushed yesterday, sadly. So yeah, I mean, in this case, like, I don't think that prioritizing function, or rather prioritizing form over function, was a smart decision. Also hidden behind here, which itself is a luxury, but it's just kind of not in the most functional space, is the washer dryer, and actually again like a functioning dryer, which is a luxury in Europe. So I just think that up here he could definitely add some counter space, or rather add some shelving space like that unit. You could add a couple more over here just to have space to put your stuff, you know, like, because otherwise it's so ugly having all of this stuff laid out on the countertop. And so anyway, the seating area is comfortable with a big TV here. Again, the view is gorgeous, as is the breeze from up here. It's just, their light is so strong in Spain. It's like 10 a.m., but I've been waking up when the sun rises around 6:30 every day. And so then over here on the left side is basically like an office area, but with kind of a day bed as well. Random, but I mean, okay. So as you can see, I mean, really going again with the aesthetic, the crystal bowls, and the lamp. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of using it as my office / storage space. Oh, look at even the fans. Look, again, you know, I'm obsessed with fans. Like, I redid them all in my villa in Bali. The fans also totally according to the aesthetic and the style of the house. Alright, so this has been my home for the last couple weeks, and it is making me honestly miss my villa in Bali, at least a little bit, to be honest. I miss the amount of space that I have in Bali, and I certainly miss not having to walk up 7 flights of stairs several times a day. I mean, that is just a killer, and it kind of makes me not want to be very active here and go out a lot. But now I actually want to talk about the things that I wish I had known about Barcelona prior to booking this trip for as long as I did. Because honestly, if I could go back in time, I probably would not stay here anywhere near as long as I'm staying here. So the reality is, honestly, I have to say I really prefer Madrid to Barcelona. Like, Madrid, I just instantly fell in love with the vibe there, even though I visited still when it was kind of cold. Just to compare, like, Madrid to me seemed so much more charming, whereas Barcelona is a little bit more intimidating because it's spread out. So that to me is kind of the root of the problems with this city that I find that I'm going to explain to you. To me, Barcelona is harder to get around than Madrid. In Madrid, I was walking everywhere, and it was really pleasant to walk around because I feel like the streets are more narrow, so everything just kind of feels more quaint and more charming. And here, like, you have these big avenidas, you know? So everything is kind of more spread out. It feels further apart, which I guess if you have a car or even if you're on a motorbike, it's better. But when you are a pedestrian or going on a bicycle, it is not so great. So yes, you can walk around if you're staying in the center of Barcelona, but there's some caveats to that. First of all, I don't find the city to be as beautiful. Yes, of course, you have the old town with its really interesting Gothic architecture and the Gaudi structures and whatever, but outside of that, the city at times feels to me it could be like Brooklyn, you know? Like, it doesn't have any particular aesthetic because they're just these big apartment buildings that are kind of newish, like in the last 20 or 30 years. There was a lot of Barcelona, I think, that was destroyed sometime like in the Franco period, and so then they had to rebuild, and those buildings are not that attractive. Whereas, everything in Madrid just kind of feels older, it feels very Spanish. So I really love the architecture in Madrid. It just is more appealing to me. Obviously, people come to Barcelona and people are attracted here because of its proximity to the beach. However, the beaches in Barcelona, which I actually haven't visited, I have to admit, except further south in Sitges, but are not that nice. They're crowded and the sand is all fake. So, I mean, coming from Bali and having lived like in tropical places for the last 5 years, I'm really not impressed with the beach scene here, and I'm not even someone who cares about the beach. Like, I love the mountains, which there are around Barcelona, actually. I just went hiking. I'm going to publish a video about that maybe next week. So there are, other things besides the beach in Barcelona, but I think that is the biggest draw. And for me, not a big draw. Another thing as I'm saying is that it's harder to get around Barcelona compared to Madrid. So first of all, as I said, it's spread out. So you don't really feel as great walking around here. And for where I'm staying, which is right by the La Sagrada Familia, if I want to go down further south towards the beach side where there's a lot of cute things or the old city, it would take about 25-30 minutes to walk there. It would take about 11 minutes or so if you're riding a bike. I actually know that very well because I did buy a secondhand bike there. There's actually so much that I want to talk to you guys about. I feel like I'm conflating all of these different issues. But okay, so Barcelona, let me try to get back on track. Basically, if you really like want to go somewhere kind of quickly, you need to take a taxi. But the taxis here are expensive. Every ride I tend to take from around La Sagrada Familia to somewhere that I would want to go is around 6 to 10 euros. And that adds up, especially if you're going both ways. Yes, there is I heard there's a good metro system here, but I don't take the metro because I'm very paranoid about robbery. I've already been the victim of an attempted robbery here, which I'll talk to you in a little bit about later. And the other ways to get around, I would actually recommend getting a secondhand bike if you're going to stay here for a longer period like I am, like at least a month. Otherwise, you can rent a bicycle, but those daily prices are kind of expensive. So I bought a secondhand bike for 85 euros. And the thing with the bicycles here is that people do rob them. You need to get like at least one or two locks. I mean, they'll even steal a wheel, the back wheel of your bicycle. It's just insane. I mean, theft is a really big problem here. That was the other point that I want to talk about. But let me finish first talking about transportation. So, what makes it hard here also in Barcelona is that it can be difficult at times to get a taxi. So in Madrid, for example, Uber works, and you have other apps too that I think are working in Madrid, like Free Now or whatever. In Barcelona, they don't have Uber. They have two apps called Free Now and Cabify. Neither of them are that great. Sometimes they work, but then, for example, yesterday I tried to use Cabify, and the driver like intentionally didn't come to the pickup point because he wanted me to cancel so that he could get the money for the cancellation. That kind of stuff I feel like is very normal here in Barcelona. I feel like people are always trying to cheat you or steal you or rob you or whatever. Unfortunately, that really is my honest opinion. But even to get a taxi at times, like at certain hours of the day, it's literally impossible. And I just wonder, like, who are all these people in the taxis and where are they going? Why are all of the taxis occupied? So it can be hard. And even the way that the streets are here, like, it's not that intuitive for the taxi to just, like, pull over and stop to where you are. Sometimes you have to go to a kind of a designated taxi stop. So it's just kind of a nightmare, to be honest. It's not easy to get around here. So typically I am going on my bicycle. As I said, I bought the secondhand bike. However, even that is not very easy. So Barcelona would like to kind of bill itself as a pedestrian-friendly city, for walking and bicycles and stuff, and they do have a lot of bike lanes. However, these bike lanes are very non-intuitive. They're not on every street, and they just kind of like will randomly stop in a place, and then you don't really know how to like get to the next bike lane. And the bigger problem is when you're not from here and you don't actually know which streets to go on, you would need to look obviously at Google Maps. And so what I typically do, it's the same that I do everywhere. I have my ear pods in and I'm listening for the directions from Google Maps. But one day I was coming back from Paseo de Garcia, which is like the main shopping area, back to my house, and I had my ear pods in trying to figure out how to get home. And I'm at a stoplight and a police car is also there, and they roll down the window and they say to me, "You can't have your earpods in." And I'm like, "But I don't know where I'm going. I'm not from here." And they said, "Well, you can look at your phone." And I was like, "Well, how is that not more dangerous?" And they said, "Well, this is the law and you can either comply or don't comply." And so I drove off and then I put them back in, because how am I going to get home otherwise? And I'm not going to keep taking out my phone, because that's so dangerous, especially in a city like this, which is so full of theft. It's like, hello, police people, why don't you do your job and arrest thieves and don't bother me? Like, it's so stupid. Like, I hate that kind of stuff. It drives me insane. So, that's my biggest issue with transportation, which has kind of like put a big damper on my experience here in general, and just sort of, in a sense, like kind of confined me more or less to my neighborhood, because one, I don't want to spend 20 euros each way going somewhere in a taxi unless I really need to. Two, it's exhausting on a bicycle and I end up like sweaty. And then three, even on foot now, I was the victim of attempted robbery a couple days ago, and that has made me extremely paranoid about walking different places. So, let me talk about the petty theft, which I alluded to both in the fact that people steal bicycles and the fact that you may get robbed. So, everybody I know who has lived in Barcelona, or even I think has visited here for an extended amount of time, has had some experience with theft and robbery. I had known that a little bit before coming here, but I thought, okay, I'm generally like pretty safe with my stuff. For example, I don't bring my this camera around with me. It's a $2,000 camera. I don't want to be like an obvious tourist target walking around with the camera. I try to like keep my phone hidden pretty much all the time. However, as you guys maybe know if you watch my videos, I do have a few gold necklaces and I wear them pretty much every day. So a couple days ago, I was walking down towards the old city again, wanted to go shopping, and there's this guy that comes really close to me, and he has his hand out like he wants to say hi to me. I had my earpods in, so I couldn't really hear him, but I said to him, "No me toques, don't touch me," in Spanish. And then I'm like, I don't want to look back at him, so I just like keep walking. And he sort of disappears, so I think, okay, well, that was really weird, but whatever. I walk another 2 minutes. All of a sudden, he's coming towards me on the bicycle. I don't even really like realize it until after that he's the same person coming towards me. All of a sudden, he hits me so hard in the chest with his arm outstretched. So I'm walking this way, he's coming this way, hits me like this. And I thought that he was just being an asshole. I thought that he was just like getting revenge because I said to him, "Don't touch me." It wasn't until I looked down and one of my necklaces, one of my gold chains, is broken on the ground, that I kind of put the pieces together. And again, this is broad daylight. This happened at like 4 p.m. There are people around. This is like a rather busy street, and I was literally just assaulted in the street like that for someone trying to steal my necklaces. And a guy says to me like, "You need to watch out. They're trying to get your necklaces," and that makes sense for the way that he hit me here and the fact that this necklace broke. He was trying to grab and steal my necklaces. But if he had hit me a couple inches higher, with how hard he hit me, he could have like broken my neck or broken my windpipe or something. And I was so shocked in the moment. One, because it really hurt, and two, to just like be assaulted like that in broad daylight in a popular street. You don't think that something like that is going to happen. I've never been assaulted like that in my life. Yes, I've been the victim of a robbery in Mexico when my house was broken into. But this was really aggressive and it was very shocking. Like I was just in a state of shock. I don't know how to say it any other way. But yes, I do feel like anytime you potentially have anything that is showing that is valuable, you could be the victim of an attempted theft or robbery. It's just, I don't know why the situation necessarily is what it is, except that people have told me that the police don't really prosecute petty theft like that, and that's the problem here. And again, people apparently make like a sport out of stealing, even like I have a really shitty secondhand bike, but I still have to lock up the back wheel because you leave it out and someone's going to just steal parts of your bicycle. Like that to me, again, is so stupid. But that is the reality here. And again, I don't know, maybe I'm an easy target because I'm a solo traveler and I know that I kind of like dress in a certain way that might attract attention, but I just feel very uncomfortable here now, and I'm still here for another 2 weeks. And honestly, if I'm walking around places, I'm not wearing my gold necklaces anymore, and I actually am not walking around places anymore, except in my immediate area. But in the touristic areas, especially around the old city, there can be a lot of crime. You guys just, if you come to Barcelona, you have to be aware of it and you really need to take care. Another thing that I've discovered in my time here in Barcelona is that to me, there are a lot less cute, quaint cafes just because of, again, the layout of the city being more broad and open. In Madrid, you have all these little hole-in-the-wall spots that are really cute, especially a lot of cafes, a lot of brunch spots. It feels much more cafe culture in Madrid than in Barcelona. Here, I don't know, it's just different. I don't like it as much, to be honest. And when it comes to the people as well, I feel like Madrid has a reputation of being more open and friendly, and the Catalonian people have kind of a reputation of being a little bit more cold. Like, people say they're more French. I don't necessarily find them French, because French people are much more, I don't know, ironic and aloof and funny to me, but these people are just like a bit distant. I don't know how to describe it any other way, but all of these reasons, to be honest, guys, I'm just a little bit, no, actually not a little bit, a lot regretting my choice to be here for this amount of time. If I could redo it, I think I would have only stayed a week here and then spent the rest of the time in Madrid, which is a place that I really enjoy. I love the parks in Madrid. I just love the feeling in that city. It's really unique to me. It's much more, again, like European feeling, and here almost I feel like this is a European version of like South Beach in Miami, and with that comes, for example, a lot of trashy tourism. Like, there's a lot of British people that come here, and they just come here again to like get drunk. I mean, that's sort of British people everywhere, right? They're just, again, sorry British people, but you don't really have a great reputation. I hate to say it. I know I get a lot of shit because I also kind of hated on the British in my veneers video, saying that they have bad taste in like cosmetic enhancements, but I always have to call it like I see it, guys. Sorry. And I mean, they're not the only ones, though. I don't know, something about this city attracts like a sort of lower class of tourism compared to Madrid, because Barcelona, I think, is more famous in some ways, and again, because it has the beach. So that always kind of brings out a specific type of tourism. So for all of those reasons, I am not having the best time of my life here in Barcelona, but I'm just trying to enjoy to the best of my ability for the rest of the 2 weeks or so that I'm here. And that's it. I hope that this guide was somewhat helpful to you. I know that I have a reputation for being honest, and I, in that sense, hope to balance out a lot of these videos that just say, oh, you know, Barcelona is so gorgeous, and look at the architecture and this and that. Like, yes, there are nice, of course there are nice parts of it, but I just am giving you my perspective of someone who's not really a tourist, someone who just kind of like comes and wants to experience the city as for what it is and kind of just enmesh myself in the life as much as possible. And that's my experience of being here after a few weeks. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and until the next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you later.